Hi there guys, what's going on? So today I wanted to talk about the 70% nutrition, 30% training myth. So you might have heard this before or seen it on the internet. I've seen it tons of times and I'm starting to get annoyed to see this because this is misinformation. And because this is misinformation, I obviously want to talk to you about this. So if you're a beginner, you don't fall into this trap, because one bad thing about this myth is that some myths, they're not that popular and they're not really trusted, but this myth is actually trusted by a lot of people, even people who go to the gym quite often, and so this needs to stop. So the 30% training, 70% nutrition myth, it basically implies that nutrition is more important than training, and that if you train a little, then the most important is nutrition. I'll give you that nutrition is important, but not as much as training. So where did this myth come from? Well, it comes from the idea usually of abs, and that if you want to see your abs, nutrition is super important. You have to diet down to show your abs. But I want to remind that obviously your abs, you can only see them if you have built them first. So this is why I kind of want to bring back the reality and the balance that training is more important. Without training, you don't have abs, and then you can't apply the nutrition to actually see your abs. So this myth, came from abs at first, and then you could see it on Instagram all over the place. People posting it's all about 30% training, 70% nutrition, it's all about efficiency, etc. Just basically things that make it look easier than it actually is. And so obviously it gets a lot of clicks and a lot of interest from people who don't know much about the gym. So it exists first because this came from the abs, wanting to shred down and see your abs. It's all about nutrition, that's what they say, and that obviously you have to diet down to see your abs. And then it kind of became stereotype for everything, that nutrition is super important, almost more important than training, or more important than training. And this is obviously when I want to make this video. It's also easier to sell, obviously, because it makes it look easier than it is when you say that it's more about nutrition than actual training. That sells more online, people like it more. So this is why it's become really famous as well and popular around social media. And people repost, uneducated gym goers, they will see this, they will repost it, they will show this to their friends. And here we go in the vicious circle of online, of the misinformation. So why is that wrong, that it's not 70% nutrition, 30% training? Well, because training is the core of your bodybuilding journey. Without training, you don't build muscle. If, for example, we put nutrition first without training, well, what's gonna happen? You're just gonna eat food or diet down, but there is no muscle built, so there is no point. So that is pretty wrong to say that nutrition is the most important and that it's 70% and that training is only 30%. Nutrition is important, but in nutrition there are a lot of things that are important, but going into details is not, in nutrition is probably not as important as training. For example, if you're bulking, you can still build muscle without having a great diet, as long as you're in a calorie surplus. As long as you're respecting this rule of being at a calorie surplus, for example, to build muscle, then you have chances to build muscle whether this food is great or not. Now, nutrition is important more when you cut down, and obviously you're at a calorie deficit, so you want to optimize your diet the best way possible. It's important obviously to give yourself the most energy possible, the best nutrients to keep well, and to do the cut the best way possible. But to say obviously again that nutrition is more important than training is not true. The nutrition part sells more, again, because it's like the supplements that you have in the industry. I remember when I was buying my first supplements, you're very excited. Obviously the marketing part that they do on the supplements, the whey protein, etc., is very exciting. You believe you're gonna instantly grow muscles, that you're gonna be pumped, etc. But the truth is that it's just easier to get your protein shake rather than eat it with real food. But it doesn't give you great gains. It's practical, but there is no magic inside, just like BCAAs, etc. And so this nutrition, 70% nutrition, 30% training, kind of reminds me of that. It's exciting to think that you can have a magic trick, but unfortunately this doesn't work. So now when I reframe this idea of the 70% nutrition, 30% training, and I want to tell you that you don't have to basically split this 100% scale in between different categories. For example, training, nutrition, sleep and recovery. You don't have to split it and to say that it's 40% training, it's 40% nutrition and 20% sleep. No, you just said that it's basically 100% nutrition, 100% nutrition and 100% sleep and recovery. It's better, try to do your best in each category. You don't have to put them into the same scale and try to define which is more important than another one. To me, they're all important. They all go together. Obviously, as I said, training is the most important because without training you don't build any muscle. But it's true that nutrition is obviously important and it has to follow, and that's sleep and recovery as well. So instead of trying to measure these things, just try to do your best in each category. Stop thinking in terms of 70% something, 30% something else. So as I said, nutrition is still important. So why to an extent this rule is important? Well, because if you build muscle but you're fat and you can't see them, being lean enough is important to actually see what you worked for. So the training, which is first in my list basically. Once you've done your training, which is first on the list, nutrition comes here to see your muscles. And nutrition also is very important and is almost close to training, because when you're training you need to eat enough to build muscle in the bulking process. So obviously nutrition is also very important. But again, I wanted to reframe how you see it, and that you should try to give your best in each category rather than try to give nutrition more importance than training. Basically, here is my list of what's more important. If we really had to choose, I would say that training is the number one. Second comes nutrition, and third comes sleep and rest. Again, the best is to do them all at once. Try to bring as many positive factors as possible together to make it work the best. But in my experience and in my bodybuilding journey, training always came first. Second came nutrition, because in my opinion eating enough food was always something that was giving me more energy. Even if I didn't sleep enough, as long as I ate enough food, I was always feeling alright. And obviously if you don't sleep for 1 week straight, obviously this is ridiculous, but if, for example, I have to decide between I'd rather eat, not really sleep, and then go to the session. That's me, and I think that obviously I gymmed from 14 years old to now, so I'm a young person, so obviously sleep and recovery might not be as important, but this might change in the future. But again, try to do them all at the same time. Sleep and recovery is super important as well. But it's just to basically give you a list of my own experience. So I hope you liked this video and that we could kill this myth of the 70% nutrition, 30% training. I hope that I could change your mind to an extent if you're a beginner and that you thought that obviously you had to be more careful about your nutrition than your training. I don't want you to believe that you can build a great physique if you only care about the nutrition part. So if you did so, feel free to share, like and subscribe. If you have any questions regarding this topic, feel free to leave it in the comments and I will help you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. See you later.